Reality is, we saw what we saw, and you don't mess with our president. You don't mess with America, period. We saw the Lindsey Graham publicly pull a Make Iran Great Again hat, and Trump had signed it. So expect, if the people of Iran start cheering, the liberals or the radical leftists start protesting against it and start supporting Islamic Republic. So the unity that brought all the Iranians together back in 2023 with the death of Mahsa Amini, it brought everyone together. But when October 7th happened, we got divided.
Right now, we have this. So many things are happening in 2026. Andy Alam, my good friend, who is the editor-in-chief of the new Persian Times, is going to join us to talk to us about what's going on in Iran right now. And because Venezuela is such a huge thing in the news, how the situation in Venezuela can relate directly to what's going on in Iran. So, Andy, could you just fill us in on what's going on in the past couple of days? How did we get here? And take it away. Tell me how the Iranian people are feeling.
Sure. So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me, Ian. It's great to see you, and I hope you had a great holiday and New Year, and to all your viewers listening.
Thanks.
So Iran right now is very hot news. It's day 9 of an ongoing uprising. This is very different from other demonstrations and protests that has happened in the past, such as what happened about 2022 to 2023 with the death and passing of Mahsa Amini. She was more of like a George Floyd type figure. This unfortunate event that happened where she passed away due to like an improper headscarf. The IRGC regime forces brutally killed her.
Was this like the morality police?
Correct.
She wasn't
correct.
wearing the appropriate attire.
Correct. So what people don't understand about that movement, right? So that was really rooted in the way that she passed away was awful, but you got to understand the culture of that morality police. It was very much like, oh, just some girl just hit her, right? It wasn't meant to be like a political thing. This is just normal everyday life that like women get abused in this manner. It's awful. It's absolutely horrible. So the culture itself has a certain rot to it. So this is something that Iranians have been battling within for such a long time. And because of the brutality of the police and the governmental structure there, it was bad enough that she died, but they didn't let her family go visit the funeral. They wouldn't even give her body to do a proper autopsy. They do all these things that raises the temperature of the people, that gets to a point where people just have enough. They're like, well, it doesn't need to be this way. Why are we even dealing with this? So that was a cascade that you saw in Iran back in 2023. And then it happened with another girl, and then another girl. And then the boys started to come and, rally behind their sisters. And then it started happening with the boys. It started happening with kids. And then it happened to this one young kid who was just honking their horn, and then he got his head shot off. And then you got to understand that the type of police force that they bring as part of their structure, there aren't even Iranian. These are people like from Hezbollah and like from Iraq. So imagine the U.S. bringing Mexico and Arabs as a police force, and Americans are going to be like, we're not going to deal with this. So that's the kind of uprising you saw.
So much it seems common throughout repressive regimes, is they bring in police forces that are from outside the country to do the dirty work. I mean, like in Venezuela, it's all Cubans that are the president's personal guard and that staff certain major posts in the administration, et cetera, right?
It's the warmth of collectivism.
Yeah, right.
It's the warmth of collectivism. That's what it is. So what we saw here in the West, we saw a reaction, like a George Floyd movement, and everyone was chanting her name, Mahsa Amini, woman, life, freedom. So it was rooted in like this feminism type of wave where everyone in the diaspora, for the first time in 46 years, got together and, unanimously came out from Australia to Europe to America, Canada. It was a beautiful thing to see. But there was a lot of factions that happened within those movements. Now, I personally have been of the philosophy that there just needs to be a national revolution. So whatever form that takes, I'm supporting my people. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything is better than what they have now. So it got to the point where me as a photographer who documented as much of these things, I saw that the feminist ideology way of approaching this very complicated and delicate situation of a national uprising, I knew it was going to fail. And certainly enough, it did, because what we saw during the Biden era failed miserably. And now, with Trump in power, now that he's gotten the right team assembled together, he's got a lot of these like neocons out of the fold and out of the picture to not whisper these things in his ear. He's doing the right thing in terms of getting in really quick and getting out. He's using the military very precisely. Now, what's happening now is that the past 8 days, people have been fed up, and now they're just completely calling for the Crown Prince, Shahzadeh King Reza Pahlavi, and they're chanting on the streets, God bless the king. You know, long
Are you
live the king.
saying
God
that
bless
there's
him.
no way for them to be liberated without the intervention of an outside power?
Unfortunately, they need some help, but the reality is they're very strong in doing it themselves, but they do need some assistance. They do. Without the help of America, it will never change.
Do you think that
It just won't.
Do you think that America? We talked in the group chat with one of our other Iranian friends, and he said that he would just support that America should take the leash off of Israel, and that should be enough. Do you think that that would be a wise way for you and the Iranian people to be liberated from the Ayatollah regime, for Israel to do that, or would you rather the United States be involved?
That's a very good question. So when it comes to the topic of Israel, it gets very complicated because Iranians are a mixed bag. We have Persian Jews, Persian Muslims, Persian Christians, we're a bunch of mix. Now, what we're seeing unfold with regards to the Israel and Iranians, it got very mixed. So the unity that brought all the Iranians together back in 2023 with the death of Mahsa Amini, it brought everyone together. But when October 7th happened, we got divided. So you saw the Persian Jews and the Persian Muslims really, like they weren't posting about what was happening in Gaza. This offended other people, and it created a wedge. So Israel, I believe, plays a vital role in this because I believe Israel, the population of Iran is like 90 million people, and they're all like below the age of 30, and all of them are pro-America and pro-Israeli. Like there's a bond between these two countries here. They want to be free, they want to be liberated, and it would help. But as an Iranian, and I speak for pretty much all Iranians when I say this, nobody wants to see Iran become like Gaza, and I think that's the fear. If military intervention is
but this
involved,
would be like
nobody wants to see a war with Iran. They don't want to see this because it's already bad enough as it is.
Yeah.
But
well, do you think that the strikes, sort of like the ones that they did over the summer, would be these decapitation strikes, where they would just get the leadership?
That actually helped inspire what we're seeing today. If that didn't happen, we most likely wouldn't have saw what transpired in the past 8-9 days. And the people of Iran has been begging for the support of America to at least hear them, help them out. And we in the diaspora haven't been doing a really good job collectively amplifying their voices. I mean, I try to do that with my platform, but unfortunately, when I untangle the web that is Iranian geopolitics, you start to see all these NGOs pop up like whack-a-mole, and you see how well funded they are, and you realize, wow, we are completely outnumbered and outfinanced and outgunned in every sense of the way. So
what other countries?
It makes sense why.
What countries are interested in keeping the regime, and which countries are interested in taking it out? I mean, we know
it's
USA,
not so much
Iran,
countries.
Russia. Are there other actors?
It's not No, I hear that, but it's not exactly countries. It's just people. It's big business. It's borderless. It's all money. It's all deals. So there's people that there's certain people that benefit from the sanctions of Iran for the past 40 years. There are people who benefit from this kind of stuff. They don't want to see Iran being free. They just don't. And because it benefits their pocket. It's sad, but it's true. There's people here in our government that benefit from Iran being the way it was because they get whatever bribes and blowbacks. So much of the funds that have been frozen, like a lot of like Iranians' funds have been frozen by the sanctions. So all if Iran becomes free, what's going to happen with all that money? It becomes very, very complicated, and no one really knows the answer to that. But one thing is for certain, the Islamic Republic has to go. Nobody wants to deal with these people, and there's even infighting within there, even with their own government. And at the end of the day, they're not serving a population that's exactly for them. There's a bunch of young kids. They just want to live a good life, have opportunity, and they just want to grow. They see how we live here, and they want to be able to live a good life. And a lot of them, they go to Dubai to at least make a living. And when they go to Dubai, they're third class citizens there because Dubai is Dubai and Iran is Iran, which in a different timeline would have been the other way around. So,
well, what do you think that this geopolitical situation with the oil market will do with the Iranian regime's time to stay in power? Because a lot of people who are analyzing the situation in Venezuela now point out that the U.S. will control more than half of the world's oil supply. And
which is great then. Which is great. Yeah, which is great for us. I think America, we like that oil needed to be coming in our direction. Absolutely. And I think it would benefit both the Venezuelan people as well as the Iranian people if that did happen. And I'll explain why. It's because, like Trump said, the people will be the beneficiary of that. You see, what's part of what led to the downfall of both of these countries. And by the way, the Islamic Republic was in bed with Maduro, so they had their own, I guess, sleeper cells and stuff that were in there. They bought real estate. They had Islamic mosques and centers out there. These are all like lily pads for their drug trafficking and stuff. So Trump doesn't like drugs. He's not a drug guy. Unfortunately, he's not. So he doesn't mind executing the military to get rid of this stuff. I mean, we're dying as a population. I don't know if you saw the opiate crisis. The death toll went down thanks to Trump. So he's all about that. He's all about living a good life and elevating the beautification of our society, which has been lost, unfortunately. And I think he remembers a time when Venezuela was a good country as well as Iran's. And I think he's trying to bring the world back and elevate it in a nice way in all aesthetics. Well, to answer your question about the oil, Iran's oil has been pretty much given to China for free, from what I've been hearing. I mean, I could be wrong about this.
Is this related to the One Belt, One Road loan initiatives where they give them loans and they build infrastructure, and then in exchange for that, they get a special deal on the oil? And plus, also
that's with Africa.
Sanctioned, they can't sell it elsewhere.
That's with Africa, but they didn't do that for Iran.
Okay.
In fact, Iran there's a middleman. I forget the guy's name, but there's this guy. Apparently, he was captured and then released. He's like my age. The guy made billions of dollars being the middleman between Iran and China. And basically, Islamic Republic mismanaged the country so bad that they gave away the oil for free. And they got nothing in return. I guess it was some sort of exchange, or because Iran doesn't bet, like Iran and China, they're right there. So there is this opportunity to get a closer relations that screwed over their people even more with America not having Trump in power. You could get away with these dirty deals without what Trump wants to make a good deal and benefit the Americans. At the same time, Israel is doing this because they need the people. The people are. Iran is the population of Iran is the most pro-Israel, most pro-West, pro-American population in the Middle East. Period. That's it. So they're betting on the future of these people to grow up and to thrive and to help be a part of the global economic system that helps trade with the West. So you got Saudi, you got Dubai, you got Qatar. They're building, but you see a lot of Americans like traveling to Saudi. They go because they're paid to go. They're not going because they're like, they don't like to go. And in terms of a cultural value, Iranians and Americans are more alike than Saudis and these other Islamic countries. So Americans will feel much more comfortable traveling. And then once the tourist market sits in Iran, Americans are going to love it. It's going to be a great
What do
time.
you
It's going
think?
to
Well, I
be
think
a
that
beautiful place.
look, we have China, of course, now, and Russia. Russia has a huge interest in keeping up the Iranian regime. Why do
Because
you?
they get their
What?
drones to fight Ukraine. That's why.
Oh yeah,
They get their
exactly.
drones
But
to fight Ukraine there. So I think there's a deal happening between Trump because I think Trump is a president of peace. He wants to end these wars, but he gives these like lifelines to these people. It's like you want to make a deal, you want to make a deal. There's so much infighting that's happening, and they can't read Trump in a way like, oh, is he bluffing? Is he not bluffing? The reality is, we saw what we saw, and you don't mess with our president. You don't mess with America, period. And these, unfortunately, the way that the mind games of these Iranians, they always, you can't tell which move they're going. And the Democrats, like, they fall for this kind of stuff. And they've been destroying.
well, that's one
There's a
thing. How
reason why
about
they
well,
haven't
you
thrived.
you mentioned it. Why don't you speak on what we are seeing in the West, not just in the United States, but in Spain, in France, these communist, socialist people that are coming out in these large demonstrations condemning the effort to liberate Venezuela.
So back in the 1970s, when Islamic Republic came into power, they would go to Germany to do assassinations. They have set up like mosques as part of like, global influence. You gotta understand, like the role of Islam plays is it's a politically and militant. At least it turned into that. It probably wasn't like that,
Mm.
but you got these like you know they're trying to influence and dominate the ideology, and it's so a lot. They've taken over Europe. A lot of what we've seen is no thanks to the
So if
Islamic
you
Republic.
so would you expect that? So like I just said about the leftists, socialist sympathizers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So to answer that,
Well, well,
the
well. Let me
yeah,
finish real quick. So, in the
sure.
same way that these leftist socialist sympathizers are supporting, voicing support for the Maduro regime and condemning Trump for his action there, would we expect likewise in the West, especially with these heavily Islamified
Oh,
countries, that we would have
absolutely.
domestic issues if Iran was
Absolutely.
toppled?
Absolutely. I don't be surprised when the people of Iran start celebrating if Trump does something to liberate the country and if they install, I want to say install because that sounds really bad. The people are actually calling for it. It's not even like some US imperial power play where we're going to install this regime change to get the oil. Like it got to the point where Iranians are happy to give their oil to the West in order to live a free life because they're already giving it away to China and they're getting nothing for it. So it doesn't matter which way the oil is flowing. This is all like a sociological communist type of propaganda to get you to get on their side in order to get on theirs. But the people would benefit from that. But I'm sorry, remind me again what
Over
you
the
were
past
asking.
30 years, especially the last
Oh,
10,
yeah, yeah. So
the
you
mass
can expect
immigration of Muslims into the West, are
yeah.
they in support
So
of
the
the Ayatollah's
pro-Palestine
regime?
So they have a hand in it. So expect if the people of Iran start cheering, the liberals or the radical leftists start protesting against it and start supporting the Islamic Republic. Yeah, expect that. And it's ironic enough because they're not Iranian. They have no right to say
Well,
and to speak on our
it's
behalf.
whatever they're getting paid to say. That one
Of
day
course.
it's climate change, the next day they're protesting Gaza and Palestine, and then
Hmm.
before even a full day has passed since Maduro is arrested, they're already in the streets of New York with their
All in the
freshly
streets.
printed
I saw that.
signs.
Yeah. These are all coordinated. There's an amazing content creator, I think Nate Friedman. He goes out onto the city and he exposes all these paid protesters. It's sad because that's what the communist agenda does, at least the globalist agenda. They use our own laws against us. So even though we have our laws in place, it's not organic. They're using it against us. They're weaponizing our justice system in order for them to further their agenda. Now you could argue it's we maybe we do it the same on the same side too. You know what? Listen, this is why the scales of justice needs to be balanced. But there's two types of courts. You have the court, actual courts, and you have the court of public opinion. And unfortunately, with algorithms and bots, and if you're well funded, you could have a very large megaphone and influence a whole
Well,
population without anyone knowing it.
I mean, when you say well funded, the American universities get free money from the government,
Oh yeah,
and that's
absolutely,
where
Qatar.
students are indoctrinated to believe this bull crap. If it was
Absolutely,
up
and
to
it's
me,
and
we
it's
would cut
sad.
off all funding to all education and also take over the administrations of some of these schools and admissions offices, so that we're not ending up with these radical, commie degree mills.
Yeah, absolutely, Ian. And it's also not just that, it's also culturally too. It's a web of different things that influences people. Unfortunately, our culture, the cultural rot is so deep that in order to ascend to higher purpose, you're vilified for it.
Indeed.
You're not celebrated. You
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like this,
If you're a
the evil
degenerate
angels are
trans,
coming out. It's time for the better and lighter angels to come
yeah,
out. And this is a spiritual war as well. So
you're
I'm
celebrated if you're some
hopeful.
sort of degenerate freak. I want to just hear, for the last couple days, I mean, we see a lot of stuff developing in Iran. What are you seeing, like, just in the last 24, 48 hours? And we've heard rumors that the Ayatollah is contemplating fleeing to Russia, to
Yeah.
Moscow. Why don't you just speak on immediately the last couple days and where you see this might go?
If I had a crystal ball, Ian, trust me, I would tell you. But the reality is, no one really knows. But what all we know, we all are seeing the same thing. So nobody's ahead of the news as opposed to what we're all seeing. Uh, it was a rumor I heard that the supreme leader was going to go to Moscow, and now people are posting about it. Who knows if that's really true? And we saw the Lindsey Graham publicly pull a "Make Iran Great Again" hat, and Trump had signed it. I'm a little mad that I wish that I wasn't the first one to get that hat, but it's okay. I'll get mine eventually. But I think the U.S. is prepared to do something and to actually take bold action in order to topple this regime, or in support of the Iranian people, which is the most important thing. Um, but there's a lot of rumors going around. It's really difficult to answer that question. I wish I had the answers, and I wish everyone did. It would put a lot of people at ease, but unfortunately, there isn't. There's a lot of unrest. And from what I saw the last 24 hours, there is people are dying. People are literally putting their life on the line, and you have parents wanting. They're saying, "Don't go out. Like, why are you going to go out? Just stay home. You're safe." And these kids they just had it. They had enough of it.
What are you
They want to
doing?
live in a better
What are
world.
you doing personally? Tell us about your work.
So I have documented a lot of the protests from 2022 and 2023, and I'm a photographer. So from what I've observed, the Crown Prince is the most viable opposition in terms of a transitional role. And he has articulated that very precisely. It's not a secret. He has a 10-point plan. He has a great team around him, full of intellectuals, well educated, well studied, well versed. I've been in those conferences. I've documented those conferences. It's not a secret. These are really competent people, and they're doing their best to execute it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of noise that's happening right now that's trying to distract everyone else's opinion. As far as my role is, my job, and I'm not getting paid for it. This is all volunteer. My goal is to just amplify the Crown Prince's message. I have been attempting to try to get the Crown Prince and President Trump to meet. It would be great if they did. I would like to believe that there is some back channel conversations happening. I cannot verify that. I do not know, but my goal and hope.
Tell us about the Crown Prince's claim and how is he giving daily announcements? Where does he communicate? What's he doing to try to get himself out there?
So he has a team. And he's been posting tweets. There is a really great organization called NUFTI, National Union for Democracy for Iran. They're amplifying his message as well, and he's posting daily. He's hearing the cries of the people. He's not posting anything graphic. I mean, that's not exactly appropriate for him to do, but he is inspiring hope for people to rally behind him. And from what I've seen from all the different uprisings from 2009, from during the Obama era Green Movement, to the 2017, and then there was another one in 2020, 2023 with Massa, that it has to be him. There is no other viable opposition group. There's no better claim to this position than him. He has the name ID. He has an amazing history. And if you look back to his older tapes, he's saying the same thing. He's like a Nelson Mandela figure. A king, and yeah, he's a king, and people get very bitter about that. But you got to get over yourself. A king is nothing without the kingdom. And it's time for the kingdom to be restored and to reestablish cordial relations with the West. And it could only be done in this small window of opportunity with President Trump. And what better way to do it with America's 250th anniversary? It would usher in such a great time. I'm very hopeful and I'm very excited about it.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it off. Thank you so much, Andy. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk more as this stuff develops. And
I'm here anytime.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of your clips and what you're doing with the new Persian Times. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to come and sit with me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you.